Hey everyone! In this video, we are going to talk about how to go about brainstorming our research paper. So we're going to start by coming to the research paper assignment that you've already created. Again, you're going to be doing all of your work in the same document so we can track it. You're going to come to the Brainstorm tab, which should be the first one, and you should have part 1 already finished from the beginning of the semester. So you shouldn't have to redo this part. So you're going to want to come down to part 2, because we're in week 10 now, huzzah! And we're going to fill this out. And so this is a way of starting to narrow our research topic down. And this is going to be really helpful because it's going to help us think about how to use some of those research questions that we've been developing earlier. And it's going to help us start thinking about how to break our essay up into sections. What this is not going to do is give us a thesis. So just keep that in mind. So we're going to go here. Step 1, you already should have finished or have a pretty good idea about like what you want to learn. But now what we want to do is use noun and verbs to show active relationships between your topics. So again, you could use a research question here, but I've got some examples. I will learn about something, like the use of environmental ideologies in xenophobic rhetoric, or representations of climate change in children's cartoons, or the incorporation of Black superheroes into comics, or I will learn about, if you want to use a research question, how climate change is affecting Illinois. We can just focus on that or something like that. Or I will learn about, why something. You could do it this way, or you could focus on a topic still. I will learn about topic, but be specific here. Again, no, I'm not just talking about like, I'm going to learn about children's cartoons. Too vague. Don't want to know that. I need something more specific. Okay. Now we're going to come in here and we're going to put our research questions that we have developed. Again, I just have why, how, what, so you can do these in any way. And we're going to even try, if you want to do ones here, yes or no questions like is something or does something if you want. But again, you don't have to here. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. So again, we're just taking those questions and here's the ones I've got. Because I want to show why nativists introduced green arguments, environmentalists, I could have also said, I just don't want to be repetitive. In the 1990s, I want to compare how extinction is portrayed for plants versus animals, because I want to analyze what the first Black superhero meant during the civil rights movement. So again, we would have questions like, what did the first Black superhero, blah, 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 blah. How is extinction, I have to sound things out, I'm not a great speller, portrayed, blah, 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 blah. Get it? And we're just taking these and we're literally just basically copying and pasting these questions into the next one. So as you're doing step 2, recognize that these two things go together. Don't reinvent the wheel on part B. It's literally just part A rewritten into a sentence. And you'll see why here in a second. And then step 3 is trying to develop a so what. And that's again, pulling on some of these research questions, how, why, or you can even introduce like a weather one. So they can be like, bloop, 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 weather. So again, I have questions. How do progressive and conservative ideologies, intersect in those nativist and environmentalist circles? Why are environmental rates soaring, but public interest is not? Back when I was a kid in the 90s, extinction stuff was kind of everywhere. Learned about it all the time in school. And then, have, racial stereotypes improved in comics? And so again, these are just questions, and then I would plug them in here and I would just, write them out like I've done up here. And so ultimately what you're going to do is you're going to pull it all together at the end. And so what's going to happen is I will learn about, you'll copy, your favorite one from right up here. I will learn about blah. And then you'll copy your next one from part 2 and you'll include it right here. And then you'll finish part 3. So you should end up with something like this. I will learn about the incorporation of Black superheroes into Marvel comics and movies because I want to study what the first Black superhero meant during the civil rights era in order to help my readers understand whether racial stereotypes have improved in comics. See? Easy. And then what you're going to do is literally once you have that written down, keep it in mind, you're going to keep using it over the course of the next couple weeks. But then I would literally maybe take an hour and I would just sort of just let your brain go and just literally put everything you know about this topic onto this page. You could also totally, do voice to text here and you could just talk and let all of the ideas come out. But basically what I would argue here is get all your ideas out onto a page before you go any further. Okay, if you have any questions about this, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.